a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, and HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. LSU basketball wins, was there last night in that number. The Tigers did work on Belmont. My goodness. Beat them by 30. That point spread was 6. Point spread was... Will Wade wanted his team to get busy early, to get rolling early. My, oh my, mission accomplished last night. Basketball Tigers were awesome. I tweeted it. I was sitting in the PMAC. Well, I was probably walking the concourse of the PMAC because I told y'all I'd just be walking the concourse with Drew. We took Drew to the game. I would tell y'all, 83-53. Man, I tweeted during that game. I said, pollsters are sleeping so hard on LSU right now, they must be in a coma. They went out and blasted Belmont by 30. That's a team that started 3 grad students and a junior. That's a team that was 26-4 a year ago. And you beat them by 30. Beat them like a drum. The defense continues to be the most impressive part of this team. Their length, their activity, size, they're a problem, bro. I'm telling you, this LSU basketball team is a problem. I'm telling you, bro. This team is a problem. All right. And then Elias Ricks yesterday, reports are he entered the transfer portal. Ed Ogeron didn't know because why would the head coach know if his 5-star cornerback's in the transfer portal? Anyway. All right. Ryan Amanda Guidry, good morning. Kelly Gross, Brad Peace, good morning. Jason Truax, Jay Harvey, what's up, Scone? They're in Memphis. John Pomeroy, any saving Ricks? Well, here's what I've been told about Ricks. Is that Ohio State has like NIL deals lined up for him. And that maybe he was a little sour that Stingley got NIL deals and he didn't. Okay, well, Stingley's a year older and he's from here and all, whatever. But anyway, I would hope so, man. I would hope that that whoever the new coach can come in and can re-recruit the roster and start with Elias Ricks. I would hope that's possible. I mentioned before, Elias Ricks' mother, Shauna, has been on AFR before when Elias had the shoulder surgery, and which ended his season. She went on the record. It's different when you're like citing an anonymous source. When a parent of a player the parent of the player goes on the record. Use my name. Then it's no longer about do you trust the source. It's the parent of the player. And she said point blank, it was not an opt out. It's not about a transfer. He was injured. His play wasn't. He was affecting his play. But clearly, here we are, a month later. Brandon Wilkinson, John Pomeroy, who's the Game Coin athlete who played last night. They didn't announce it yet? Well, I'm not going to break the news. You know that. Certainly not going to spoil that. I'm going to let Game Coin do it. But yes, the newest Game Coin ambassador athlete did, in fact, play in Monday Night Football last night. Some people guessed it correctly. Some people did, in fact, guess it correctly. Dane Bergeron, good morning from my deathbed. There's some bad crud going around. Give me some good news. Good. I'm glad you're not actually dying, Dane. It sounds like you're just a little sick, which that sucks. I hope you feel better. Good news. LSU will have a new football. The Ed Ogeron era ends in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in 4 days. 4 days, the Ed Ogeron era is over, and you never have to think about that wrecking your beloved program again. Lowell Cormier, good morning. Saints opened up the bank for Hill again. It's interesting, Lowell. So Taysom Hill did get a new contract. Sean Fazan brought up a great point on AFR yesterday, which is the way that they structured it, it probably was also a cap-saving move. It guarantees you keep Taysom around a little more, but he was going to have a big cap number, so by extending the contract, you can massage the number to have it lower for next year. So, and look, man, you committed to at least giving him the opportunity to be a starter. So he's got to, when he's healthy, he's got to start the rest of the year. He has to. If you're gonna commit Taysom Hill $95 million as your potential starting quarterback. Now, again, if he stays in his current role, it's like $45 million or $40 million, which, okay, but $10 million a year, okay. But if you're going to throw that into the contract, that it could potentially be your star, then you have to give him a chance to see if he can be that guy. So he's got to start the rest of the year, not Simeon. It's a lost season anyway. I mean, they're done. So start tasting the rest of the way. Brian Wynn, good to see you last night. Brian Wynn. Saw Brian Wynn last night at the LSU basketball game while I was walking laps with Drew. I told y'all on AFR. Drew sat in his seat for about the first 10 minutes. He just stared at the floor. Like, he was so immersed in all of it. And then after that, he just kind of like popped, was like, okay. And then he wanted to go. And so we walked around the inner concourse, right? Or like, where you could, not underneath where the concession stands, or like the inner concourse around the seats. I mean, I must have done 10 laps yesterday. But so I kind of got to watch the game a little while I followed him and watched the game as I walked around. Cody DeVille, if Lincoln Riley is truly in play and wins Saturday, how does that affect the entire situation? I would doubt he leaves with a potential playoff berth, hypothetically speaking, of course. That's been the point I've made all along, is a lot of times in coaching searches, timing does matter. People who keep mentioning Dave Aranda, same for him. If Oklahoma loses this week and Baylor wins, Baylor's in the Big 12 championship game. Dave Aranda ain't leaving after that. You know what I mean? So it's like, by the way, I'll continue to say I have not heard Dave's name from anyone other than fans who ask, right? Which was so perplexing that I saw Scott Rabalay's thing yesterday at the Advocate that he reported like Aranda's the front runner, and then I saw, Collada tweeted it's down to Napier and Aranda, and then yesterday he tweeted that it was Lincoln Riley. So, like, I mean, make up your mind. This is my point, y'all. Like, you got to trust people who their job is to break news. Yeah, like, just if you're not seeing something from Dellinger or Brett McMurphy or Feldman, like people who that's what they do. Come on, like. Just consider the source, man. Like, hey, Dad. Morning, Matt from Kansas. Aiden and Laurel say hi. Well, good morning, Laurel and Aiden. That's my niece and nephew. I told you yesterday my sister Alicia is expecting twins, and her water for one of the twins broke. And so I didn't know. I thought if your water broke, like you were in labor. Apparently that's not the case. So she's in the hospital right now waiting on the babies. So they hope to keep them in there till Monday, which would be great. Kind of keep them in there a little longer. Let them incubate. But anyway, so my dad's up in Kansas with the other kiddos. So good morning, kiddos. Charlie Cavell, what's going on? Let's holler at my YouTube peeps. Smash the like button if you would. Tim Gotro, Trivia Carter. Let's see. Purposely, accidentally missed Ed's press conference yesterday, and we know how practice went. Remember, yesterday was Monday, so no practice yet. We'll find out about practice today on OTB, Wednesday on the coach's teleconference, Thursday on Wednesday on his coach's show, and then Thursday on the post-practice interview. LSU Sports Fanatic, good morning. Spurge, good morning. Matt Plavidal, good morning. Matt Plavidal has a request that we start with the Hudco song.
Hudco Roofing! Hudco Roofing! When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is Hudco.
Hudco Roofing! Hudco Roofing! Call Hudco Roofing!
364
1007!
Don't mind if I do. Travis Laurent, good morning. Tommy Howard, all 5 opponents been held under 60. Don't think for a second, too, because Will had the starters in until, like, inside of 5 minutes. I mean, they had to get to the under 4 timeout. And before he really started emptying the bench. So don't think for a minute he didn't want that. Michael Mills. Matt, I'm writing my last will and statement in preparation for the Mark Stoops hiring. Anything you want in particular? Michael, I'll rest assured, okay, that I am very confident in saying that Mark Stoops and Bill O'Brien are Jimmy Sexton fabrications. That's my opinion on the matter, okay? And I've done a lot of these, and I know a lot how the agent game works at times. I think that's Jimmy Sexton pushing his... Let me give you an example. In 2016, Lane Kiffin was the OC at Bama. He ended up taking the FAU job. If you remember that coaching carousel, Lane was mentioned for every stinking job. Lane was mentioned for all of them. Because Lane and Nick, their relationship was done. And it was a way to help both of them. So Lane was in the mix for every... He finally landed FAU. He took a pay cut to go to FAU. But that was Sexton just getting his client's name out there. So I think it's the same thing here. I think he's trying to get I think Bill O'Brien and Nick need to be separated. Bill O'Brien may be an opportunity to be another head coach again somewhere. And I think Stoops probably has hit a glass ceiling in Kentucky. I think it's, I think he's trying to get more money out of Kentucky or get a better opportunity. Not unlike Dan Mullen when he felt like he had hit his glass ceiling at Florida. Or actually, meant Mississippi State. I do not think LSU is going to hire Mark Stoops or Bill O'Brien. Jesse Brown, morning, Matt. Great win for LSU basketball. What are your thoughts on the Hill contract extension? What it means? Just kind of went through that. David Wallace, good morning. Big Boy Hard Knocks, what's up? Tommy Howard, Will Wade hate is real. Not being in the top 25 is a crime. And they only had like 5 votes, too. Rapping Batches, what's up? Father John David, but I'll tell you this. Here's the benefit. Until LSU gets in the top 25, keep betting them to cover. Just keep betting them to cover. Otts explained this, and he's right. You don't get a lot of public action on games until you're talking about top 25 teams. And as a result, you have some deflated lines where they just haven't taken into account LSU yet. But that may start to change. You keep waxing everybody by 30, like you're going to, like, eventually Vegas will catch up. But in the meantime, until they do, right, Phil Steele's got this line. It's like, you always bet a streak until you lose because you win a bunch and you only lose once. So you see the streak, keep betting the streak until you lose and then figure out what you want to do. Let's see. Ted Campiso, morning, Matt. Drew looked sharp last night, and he thought of the Nolan Breakers coming back. Yeah, pretty cool, man. Y'all saw that the USFL is bringing back the New Orleans Breakers. A little throwback. It's funny, as a kid, I had New Orleans Breakers pennant in my bedroom. So I don't remember the Breakers at all, but I remember having a Breakers pennant in my bedroom. So a little nostalgic. That's kind of cool. Travis Broussard, good morning. Tim C, morning, Matt. With Florida also in the coaching search mode, does it put pressure on Scott to hurry and make a decision? I don't think so, Tim. And from what I understand is that Florida essentially has a deal done with Billy Napier. I think, and it's the most perplexing thing because people I've talked to close to Billy Napier insist that LSU hasn't even been in contact with Napier. I find that hard to believe, but I believe firmly with 100% confidence. I mean 100% confidence. If he had an offer from both LSU and Florida, he would take LSU and it wouldn't even be a decision. I also don't... LSU has not formally discussed anything with Billy Napier. I know that. Which is wild and hard to believe, but also kind of leads me to believe that Scott's already got his guy. He's got his guy, then maybe his fallback, and apparently it's not Napier. Now, one thing that could potentially happen, which would be interesting, is if you had a situation kind of like Texas and Herman in 2016. I mean, LSU and Herman were at the altar, and only then did Texas swoop in? He's like, oh, I want to listen to them. He took that job. Well, because then Oliva got, well, whatever. Maybe if Woodward's going down the aisle and he gets left at the altar, he could swoop in and hire Napier potentially. But remember, Napier's going to be in a conference championship game next weekend anyway, so you likely wouldn't announce anything till after that. So the timeline might get bumped. I mean, if you're thinking Lincoln Riley or Billy Napier, I mean, if that's where you are with it, I mean, you may have to wait until next weekend. Brian Jones. Hey, Matt, have you discussed the Ricks transfer? Just briefly, Brian. I would love to see him get re-recruited. I think the new coach has to re-recruit this roster. My understanding is that Ricks is going to Ohio State, already has like NIL deals lined up there, which means they were tampering with a player who wasn't in the portal already, but such is life in the NCAA. Prove it, right? But anyway, hopefully they can recruit him to stay. I heard it's Matt Rule with Joe Brady. He's the OC. Matt, do you think Billy Napier's going to Florida at this point? Yeah, Aiden, just kind of address that. I do. I mean, he's their top guy, and I was told independently from at least three, maybe four different people last night that deal's done with Napier in Florida. But again, an agreement in principle is not introducing the coach. I mean, LSU had an agreement in principle with Tom Herman in 2016. They had an agreement in principle with Jimbo Fisher in 2015. I mean, they had an agreement in principle in baseball with Kevin O'Sullivan. I mean, that happens a lot, and then you don't. It's like, think of it like this. Here's a good analogy. Think of it like an accepted offer on a home purchase. Like, someone they may accept your offer, but still to get to the closing table, you're not done, right? Proof of funds, you have to go through inspections. There are always things that could cause the deal to fall apart. Same with coaching, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. I kind of like that analogy. Out to boot, what's up? Brushing my teeth to morning Scone. I love it. Paul Jean. Matt, who does Vegas have as betting favorite in LSU coaching search? I don't think they do, Paul. I think it's another thing I'd explain is that it's a lot of times it's the online betting sites and the apps that do it. Like Vegas Sportsbook don't actually do it. And I don't know that they've updated odds in a while. Remy, Dave Aranda, please. I'm telling you, maybe Dave Aranda is the fallback. Maybe it's Lincoln Riley and Dave Aranda's fallback. I'm telling you flatly, I don't know. The thing that I've tried to do is give you as consistently good information as I can without being definitive in any way. Because a lot of people end up with egg on their face. I'm going to tell you, like, all the people this week, I kind of poked fun at them at the start of AFR yesterday, but all the people this week who painted themselves into a corner, dangerous, bro. Like, Gilbo put out 3 finalists, Jordy put out finalists, and then changed it. Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio also does stuff on ESPN. He put out finalists, and they're all different. It's like, brother, I'm going to tell you, you paint yourself into a box like that, you only get to be wrong once, man. It's like them people that Marcus Freeman is accepted LSU's new defensive coordinator. Oh, really? Now, why is Durante Jones the DC? Last year, Elias Ricks is leaving for Ohio State. LSU this year. You only get to be wrong once, man. If you try to be breaking news guy, people will never forget when you're wrong, man. Napier is a risky hire at a Power 5 program. I don't think so, James. I think Billy Napier will be fantastic wherever he goes, and I really think that I think if LSU doesn't hire him, it better be because they have a deal with a Lincoln Riley or somebody like that, the big splash hire, because man, if you, let's say hypothetically you miss on Riley or Jimbo or something like that, and you go down your list and you settle on a Stoops, whatever, and you could have had Napier all along, I don't think that's going to sit well with people. What's up, Benny? Jimmy Sexton controlling the coaching market, multiple of clients getting the head job. No doubt. Like, that's something I don't know if a lot of people really understand how much influence Sexton has, because he has like 75 clients. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, pretty much all the coaches are Sexton clients. And so he's kind of like the dude controlling the pieces on the chessboard, maneuvering guys into jobs in different places and stuff. So his influence is massive, make no mistake. Remy, how long before your head coach is named? I think they'd love to do it next week. But if the guy you're going to hire is in a conference championship game, it may wait another week after that. Pikachu Tube, Bill O'Brien wants to go to Miami. I think Lane Kiffin will be in the mix at Miami as well. I actually think Lane Kiffin's going to get that job. Morning, Matt. You believe Scott should be looking for more offensive-minded coach or defense? Yeah, I would. Listen, if you can get Lincoln Riley, I think that's the way to go. Because I think the harder thing to find is a coach that has proven they can consistently recruit and develop elite quarterback play. And that's, I think you can find a defensive coordinator more easily than you can that elite offensive guy. Hey, Dawn, good morning. Jamie Leday, Justin Hutchinson back in the duck blind. 3 from my limit. Good luck. Ryan, Amanda Guidry. Rumors started with top candidates yesterday, and they're all different, right? How funny is that? When all these people have the list of the finalists, and everybody's list is different. Joseph Dupree, morning, Matt. If you had to put game coin on it, who steps up to the podium as our next coach, given all the seemingly conflicting reports? That's just it, Joseph. Like, I'm not making predictions like that because I don't know. And if I do, like, y'all will say, oh, so you were wrong. Like, I mean, I can give you a prediction, but you all are going to think that I'm reporting it, which I'm not. So, like, what I've told you all along is that, and I believe this firmly, I think Jimbo Fisher is Scott Woodward's choice. I do think he'll call again. I think Scott will call Jimbo again. I do. I don't think Jimbo will take the job. That's my opinion, but I think he's the number one. The only other coach that we've discussed that fits the profile is Lincoln Riley. If Jimbo's a no, I think they make the offer to Lincoln, and I think Lincoln would accept a $12 million offer. I do. Now, the complicating factor is something that none of us can control. If Oklahoma wins this week and then wins next week, they're in the playoff. And Lincoln Riley's not leaving. You have to move on. And the tough part with that is if you get through the playoff, or if you get through Riley and and he goes to the playoff and you're on to your next, well, who's your next? Is it Napier? Well, Napier's about to take the Florida job. A lot of people is it Randa? I don't know. Do you settle for Mark Stoops? I mean, is that the plan B, C, D? Maybe. Ryan Dixon, did Florida fire Mullen because they have their guy? Feels like Herman, Texas situation. That's not a bad analogy, Ryan. I'll tell you, Napier's the guy. I mean, I flatly will tell you that. I have no problem reporting. That Florida and Billy Napier are in heavy discussions and close to a deal, if not having agreed on terms. So, I mean, but I'm also confident in saying that Florida's not going to announce Billy Napier until after the conference championship game. So, and if LSU wanted to at any point, they could step in and offer Billy Napier the job, and he would take it. So, similar to the Tom Herman situation, except LSU could kind of be the role of Texas in this situation. Jason Gibson, any chance Ricks pulls his name out based on the new coach? I hope so, Jason. I mean, there's always a chance. I mean, you could always go re-recruit your roster. And remember, he has to stay enrolled in school if he wants to be eligible. That's the John Emery situation, right? Emery wasn't a full-time student. He dropped classes and all that stuff, so he wasn't a full-time student, and look at what happened. Ricks has to stay enrolled in school, and I would love it if a new coach could at least have a conversation with him and the family. AJ St. Pierre, Scone, which candidates would you consider to be a major letdown? Yeah, good question. I don't know, man. Honestly, I think I'd be fine with any of them that we've mentioned, even Stoops and O'Brien. I know that a lot of fans are sort of like allergic to that, but we've talked about Bill O'Brien, the blind resume thing with him, and it's impressive. And I think Stoops is way more respected within industry circles than many here would give him credit for because he's at Kentucky. And it's kind of a blah style, and I get it. I do. Trust me, I get it. But he has built consistency and stability there. And I've actually heard that he's a freaking amazing recruiter. Like, great at recruiting all the kids, but the parents, and like is really, really good. Good at development, like really good at development. Because he's got to recruit 2 and 3 stars and JUCO kids and then develop them, you know? So he can't really miss. He's got to get guys in that stay and develop and then hit the transfer market like he did with Kelvin Joseph and Dare Rosenthal, and you get it. Wandale Robinson, right? So he's got to do it a different way at Kentucky, but he's done it really well. So I wouldn't even hate that. Like, I think he could do really well here, given more resources. But I understand why fans would be let down if that was the case. Jackson Carney, what's the obsession with hiring statement assistants? Plenty of evidence there's more misses than hits among the group. That's fair, Jackson, but then, I mean, you do have your Kirbys and your Jimbos. I think you throw Kiffin in that mix as well. But yeah, there's Derek Dooley and Will Muschamp, no doubt. John Bro, good morning. Megan Hurst. Erlander Jean-Pierre. What's up, Erlander? Been a minute, man. Dave Aranda, please. I don't know, man. Kerry Hughes. Great to see Drew at the game last night. What's up, Kerry Hughes? I mean, Kerry, I didn't see you at the game last night. I'm guessing you saw the Instagram. I'll just make sure I didn't miss you. I did see a lot of my Calic High class of 2000 brothers. Shout out to Adam Foy. Shout out to Jared Fobb. Shout out to Marcus Boyer. It was like a Calic High reunion in the concourse. Dad cracking up watching Aiden dance to the Hudco jingle. All right, well, if my godchild is dancing to the Hudco jingle, then be prepared, because here it comes again.
When you need a roof, call someone you know. Scone and Terrio.
All you need is Hudco.
Call Hudco Roofing.
364.
1007.
Yeah. All right. Man, my godchild wants to dance to the Hudco Roofing jingle. I'm going to play that Hudco Roofing jingle. Let's see. Dane Bergeron, Matt, what are your thoughts on High West whiskey? Oh, Dane, why did you have to do that? Well, Dane, I have to ask you a question. Now, when you ask about High West, do you mean Midwinter Night Dram Act 16 5? Did you mean Midwinter Night's Dram Act 7 Scene 3? Did you mean Midwinter Night's Dram Act 8 Scene 5? Did you mean Yippee-Ki-Yay, which has been discontinued, unfortunately? Did you mean the Rendezvous Rye? Did you mean the Double Rye? Did you mean Campfire? I don't know, like, which one did you mean? Like, when you said High West, like, which one did you mean? You made me do it, bro. You made me do it, Dane, unfortunately. I had to do it, bro. Had to flex on him. Had to do it. And don't you judge me either. I see you all sitting in judgment. I'm not down for your judgment. I'm just here. I'm down with the brown. That's all. That's all there is to it. Not down with your judgment. I'm down with the brown. Call Hudco Roofing. 3, 6, 4. What? Oh, son. Hudco Roofing. Okay. All right. You made me do it, Dan. You made me do it. Had to. Let's see. Stephen Fry, Nick Diaz. What's up, Nick Diaz? Matt, do you think Louisiana high school coaches supporting Napier has an influence on Woodward? Good question, Nick. Good question. No, because, and listen, I'll tell you this. Okay, I'll rephrase. When this whole thing started, it was pretty clear that Woodward was not interested in Napier from jump because of the Lafayette little brother thing. I think that's fact. Billy Napier has done a magnificent job of mobilizing his legion of supporters. High school coaches, bro, the barber in over in A Meet, like the barber over in A Meet, huge Billy Napier guy. Like, it's undeniable the amount of players LSU's lost out of Tangipahoa Parish because of the barber, huge Billy Napier guy. Media members, like, it ain't a surprise you see media members stumping for Napier. Like, he has mobilized his army, and I think that has had an influence that has got him from not being considered to being squarely in the mix, and potentially even the fallback guy if Woodward doesn't land his number one. Randy Dabdoob, how did Drew like the game? He did well, Randy. I mean, thankfully, I mean, he was up and moving around a lot. You know, we walked the concourse a bunch, but at least he wasn't like scared of the buzzer and, you know, anxious, which he was the last time we took him to a game. So, Anthony Mitchell, does Taysom Hill have dirt on Sean Payton? I don't think so. No, I don't know what they see. They see more of him than we do, but I don't believe he'll ever be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But I'll see. Tony Cortello, I find it very shady. He's going to Ohio State now that he and his mom denied it constantly. I don't blame you for finding that shady. I mean, when you publicly say something and then you do the opposite, I don't blame you. What do the Tigers need to do to beat A&M this weekend? Score more points. Look, Brian, I mean, I know it's lame, but the same thing I would say for any game for this LSU team. They're just not good enough to beat teams straight up. So you got to play perfectly. You can't turn the ball over. You got to steal a few possessions, keep the penalties down, which they've done all year. Find a way to hit a big play here or there. I mean, it's just not a game where I think you can just straight up go toe to toe and win the game. Their defense is too good, so you're gonna have to steal some possessions. YouTube, smash that like button if you haven't done so yet. Please subscribe to the channel. Facebook, like the page, share the post. As always, shout out to Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. So grateful for our friends over at Brock. Man, they do awesome work. So check them out. You need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. Just what you do. Sam Bacon, Napier told Florida he's waiting on LSU. I don't think he told Florida he's waiting on LSU. I don't think you tell someone that at all. But he's very close to a deal with Florida because LSU hadn't called him. Kevin Langlanay, hope we don't have egg on our face. Napier goes to Florida, he wins a natty. In that situation, Kevin, you better hope that you land your guy. I mean, it's the old Spurrier thing from the 80s, right? Spurrier wanted the LSU job, and instead LSU hired, is that when they hired Archer? You know? They hired Mike Archer. Yeah, how'd that work out? Jerry DeLucky, Tommy Matthews. I didn't want Napier until Florida won. a lot of teams. Chris Mars, DMX for the win today. How about it? Big morning already. You saw that? Great news. Craig Dugas, we're basketball school now. What's up, brother? Jason Gibson, is Dan Mullen's wife going to take the players out for one last dinner? Jesus. David Rabb, Pomeroy, did Toby and Shelley choreograph the jiggle dance too? No, they did not. I did that. But that is Toby Tomplay and Shelley Brown Tomplay singing the Hudco jingle. With an assist from Eric Cantrell. Travis Bushnell, I think Woodward is playing this already, has his hire, keep it in-house. I don't think he's playing anybody. Woodward just doesn't talk, which is good for him. He shouldn't. Keith and Emery, do you foresee Ricks playing more than 3 games next year before opting out to prepare for the NFL? That's really hard to say, right? I don't know. I do hope that I know the kid loves playing football, and I really do hope that whoever the new coach is can re-recruit him to the roster. Shelby, humble brag, Lord Edwards. Oh, man. Subaru, every time you play the jingle, my phone alerts me to glass breaking somewhere in the house. That's funny. Oh, man. Jimmy Babin. Timothy Crouch. Hope LSU stop station Jimbo and go get Billy Napier. Well, we're going to find out soon enough, y'all. All right, I got to jump on a teleconference here for 9 a.m., so I got to jump. Thank y'all so much for watching. Stu 3, Craig Duga, High West Country Whiskey coming to Louisiana soon. Love it. James Bailey, because of the lax of leaks, do you think it'd be someone out of left field? I don't, James. There's always the possibility, but I mean, unless if it's someone like, you're pulling Bob Stoops out of the broadcast booth, something like that, which I don't think is the case. Rapping Batches, Tigers winning Saturday or no? I'm going to say no. I mean, I don't think they win that game. A&M's more talented. They're better coached. They got more on the line. Just, no. Okay, I got to go. Y'all have an awesome day. As always, Brock, Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Hudco Roofing. You, a family member, a friend, a relative, a neighbor. If you know someone who is still waiting on a roof repair, replacement, inspection, please give us a shout at Hudco. HudcoRoofing.com, HudcoRoofing.com. Fill out the contact form on the website. It's the best way to go. HudcoRoofing.com. All right. Locked on LSU coming up, AFR at 3, and we'll see y'all. Peace.